You know that specific, heavy exhaustion that hits you at 3 in the afternoon? It is not just normal tiredness. It is a thick brain fog that leaves you irritable, mentally disconnected, and craving a nap. Or maybe you look in the mirror and see a bloated, distended stomach, even though you haven't eaten a huge meal. You might brush this off as just getting older, or the result of a stressful week, but the latest clinical research reveals something terrifying. This isn't just aging. This is the silent warning sign that your liver is actively accumulating toxic fat, a hidden metabolic crisis now affecting 1 in 3 adults. And what does the mainstream wellness industry tell you to do? They sell you a $30 detox tea or a 7-day juice cleanse to supposedly flush out toxins. But your biochemistry doesn't care about marketing, and the medical literature is clear: this is absolute pseudoscience. Even worse is the standard advice to simply eat less without changing what you eat. You cannot calorie count your way out of a hormonal traffic jam. Generalized calorie restriction is failing you because it completely ignores the molecular structure of the real villain on your plate, a molecule that bypasses your body's energy regulation entirely. Your inability to lose that stubborn belly fat and your constant crushing fatigue are not caused by a lack of willpower. They are caused by a specific metabolic villain, fructose, which is currently hijacking your liver's de novo lipogenesis pathway. We are going to decode your metabolism right now. I am going to show you how eliminating this one specific trigger for just 30 days doesn't just cut calories. It mechanically unlocks your mitochondria to incinerate stored fat through a biological process called lipophagy. To understand why your body refuses to let go of this weight, we need to look under the hood at your biological engine and examine the critical shift from a sugar-burning state to a fat-burning state. The specific mechanism at play here is how your liver handles different types of energy. When you consume glucose, like from a sweet potato, your body regulates its uptake. But when you consume added sugar, specifically fructose and high fructose corn syrup, it enters the liver through a back door called the fructokinase pathway. This pathway is completely unregulated. Unlike glucose, which waits politely for a signal, fructose floods the liver, rapidly depleting your cellular energy, or ATP. In a state of panic, your liver cells are forced to convert this excess energy directly into saturated fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. This creates a toxic condition known as glycolytic overload, which effectively slams the brakes on your body's ability to burn fat. Let's visualize what is actually happening inside you. Imagine your liver cell, your hepatocyte, as a high-powered energy factory. In this sick, sugar-fed state, the factory floor is dangerously overcrowded. The space is packed with large, pale yellow lipid droplets that are physically pressing against the nucleus of the cell, deforming it. Your cell's power plants, the mitochondria, look sluggish, fragmented, and short. But the most important thing to see is a molecule called Malonyl-CoA. In this state, Malonyl-CoA acts as a giant red stopper. It physically plugs up the CPT1 gates of your mitochondria, blocking any fat from entering the furnace. You are carrying plenty of fuel, but your engine is locked shut. Imagine what happens when we remove this specific trigger. Once the sugar is gone, that red stopper, the Malonyl-CoA, vanishes. Instantly, the CPT1 gates swing wide open. Suddenly, you can see fatty acid chains looking like long serpentine tails streaming smoothly into the mitochondria to be burned. Simultaneously, special cleaning crews called lysosomes, which look like active red Pac-Man vesicles, dock onto those yellow fat droplets and begin dissolving them from the inside out. This is lipophagy, your body's ultimate self-cleaning mechanism. Your mitochondria begin to glow with new energy, becoming elongated, interconnected, and highly efficient. But what happens if you don't make this shift? What if this silent accumulation continues? The damage does not stay contained in the liver. It leads to metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease. The terrifying thing about this condition is that it is asymptomatic for years. You might look completely normal on the outside, while on the inside your liver cells are slowly dying and being replaced by stiff scar tissue, a condition called fibrosis. Eventually, this toxic fat spills over, poisoning your bloodstream with inflammatory cytokines and instantly doubling your risk of cardiovascular disease. If you think this is just theory, biochemistry doesn't lie. A seminal study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition proved this mechanism. Researchers took a group of subjects and simply swapped their dietary sugar for starch. They did not lower their calories at all, it was an isocaloric restriction. In just 9 days, liver fat, visceral belly fat, and de novo lipogenesis dropped significantly. This proves once and for all that your metabolic breakdown is caused by the specific molecular structure of fructose, not just the number of calories you are eating. You might think your intense sugar cravings at 3 in the afternoon are simply a lack of willpower or a character flaw you just can't seem to fix. It is time to let go of that guilt. The latest research reveals a hidden biological link between the health of your liver and the dopamine receptors inside your brain. Chronic sugar consumption actually alters your brain chemistry, creating what neurologists call a hypodopaminergic state. This state is strikingly similar to clinical substance dependence. Over time, your baseline for pleasure gets warped. Your receptors downregulate, meaning you need more and more sugar just to reach the baseline and feel normal. That terrible, jittery withdrawal you feel when you try to cut back isn't mental weakness. It is your brain mechanically and desperately trying to recalibrate its own hijacked reward system. To understand how to fix this, we have to track the domino effect of how your liver talks to your brain. Step 1 is the root cause, hyperinsulinemia. That high fructose intake we decoded earlier spikes your insulin and that chemical red stopper, Malonyl-CoA. This securely locks the fat inside your liver and your belly. You have thousands of calories of stored energy on your body, but you cannot access a single drop of it. Step 2 is the transmission failure. As your blood fills with high triglycerides and fructose, they physically gum up the blood-brain barrier, inducing a dangerous condition called leptin resistance. Leptin is your satiety hormone. Your fat cells are screaming at the top of their lungs, "We are full, we have enough energy." But the signaling bridge is out. Your brain is deaf to the message. This triggers step 3, systemic failure and the inevitable crash. Because your brain is completely blind to all the stored energy on your body, it senses a false energy deficit. It genuinely believes you are starving to death. In response, it pulls the emergency alarm. It triggers intense cravings, crushing fatigue, and severe irritability to force you to seek out the fastest energy source possible. You reach for the sugar, the blood sugar spikes, the liver gets overwhelmed, and the toxic cycle starts all over again. It is a perfect biological trap. This brings us to one of the most dangerous myths in the traditional diet industry. You have likely heard the claim that your brain needs sugar to function, and that if you cut out carbs or fast, you will get brain fog and become mentally sluggish. The truth is, while your brain does use glucose, it absolutely does not require dietary sugar to get it. Your liver is a magnificent organ. It produces all the precise glucose your brain needs on demand through an internal process called gluconeogenesis. Furthermore, during your metabolic reset, when the toxic sugar is gone and your insulin drops, your liver shifts into a higher gear. It begins to produce ketone bodies, specifically a molecule called beta-hydroxybutyrate. This is not just an emergency backup fuel. This is a metabolic superfuel. Beta-hydroxybutyrate crosses the blood-brain barrier effortlessly, providing up to 70% of your brain's total energy needs. More importantly, unlike glucose, which creates oxidative stress, ketones actually reduce inflammation in the neural pathways. Instead of brain fog, you experience a surge in mental clarity, razor-sharp focus, and stable mood. You are not starving your brain by cutting fructose, you are upgrading it. To permanently reverse this metabolic damage and finally shed the stubborn weight, we need to implement a specific protocol designed to lower inflammation and allow your liver to heal. It is time to separate the nutritional truth from the marketing lies with a definitive clean versus dirty list. First, you must immediately stop eating what the industry calls fake health foods. The biggest offenders here are dirty keto products packed with processed meats and zero-calorie drinks loaded with artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose. You might think these are safe because they don't contain calories, but biochemistry tells a different story. These chemicals actively disrupt your gut microbiome and maintain your glucose intolerance. They keep your body in a highly inflammatory state, completely preventing your gut lining and liver from healing. Instead, you need to start feeding your body the specific fuel that repairs this damage. Your focus must shift to cruciferous vegetables for their potent prebiotic fiber and clean monounsaturated fats like high-quality olive oil and avocados. These specific foods act as direct fuel for the Bacteroidetes bacteria in your gut. When these bacteria are fed, they go to work rapidly repairing the mucosal lining of your gut and signaling your liver that it is finally safe to burn fat. But what you eat is only half the equation. When you eat is just as critical for your liver's recovery. This is where we introduce the master intervention, a strict 16 to 8 time-restricted eating schedule. This means you consume all your daily nutrients within an 8-hour window and give your digestion a complete rest for 16 hours. Here is the exact biology of why this works. That 16-hour fasting window is the precise amount of time required to fully deplete the glycogen stores in your liver. Once the glycogen is drained, your liver has no choice. It is mechanically forced to switch into lipophagy, that ultimate cleaning mode we visualized earlier, every single night while you sleep. You are effectively scrubbing the fat out of your cells on a daily basis. To accelerate this healing process, there are 2 nutrient heroes you need to introduce to your routine immediately. The first is sulforaphane, a bioactive compound found in high concentrations in broccoli sprouts. Think of sulforaphane as a master switch. It directly activates the NRF2 pathway in your cells, which dramatically reduces oxidative stress and melts away liver fat. The second hero is high-quality omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats act as molecular keys, or ligands, for a receptor called ppar-alpha. When ppar-alpha is activated, it physically turns on the specific genes in your DNA responsible for burning liver fat. Your 2-minute habit for today is simple. Add a handful of broccoli sprouts to your plate, or take a high-quality omega-3 supplement with your first meal. It takes seconds, but it signals to your genes that the healing process has begun. Now that we have successfully unlocked your liver, melted the toxic fat, and reset your brain's dopamine pathways, your energy should be skyrocketing. But we need to protect this progress. In the next video, we are going to investigate a hidden environmental trigger. We will discuss how the blue light exposure in your bedroom at night might be secretly spiking your blood sugar and blocking your fat burning, even while you are fast asleep.